Imagine for a moment that you're floating in a spacecraft, just looking out a small window. Down below you is the Earth, this glowing, fragile blue marble suspended in endless dark space. Astronauts who have actually experienced this often report a profound, sudden shift in how they see absolutely everything. When you see the undeniable interconnectedness of life on Earth from that high up, well, the daily stress, the social drama, the little things that bother us, they all just kind of fade away. You rise above it. And honestly, that sets the perfect stage for our journey today. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to embark on a journey that spans thousands of years and billions of light years. Think of it as a cosmic zoom. We'll start way out in the vastness of space, looking at the entire universe, and then we're going to quietly zoom all the way down into the architecture of your very own mind. It's this amazing journey that blends ancient philosophy, history, and cutting-edge science to give you a real practical mental toolkit for navigating everyday life. So here's our roadmap. 1. The view from above. 2. Shared wisdom across empires. 3. The science of connection. 4. Building your inner citadel. 5. One world, one family. And 6. Questions for your journey.
Let's dive right in. Part 1. The view from above. A shift in perspective.
So that awe-inspiring feeling we talked about at the very beginning, it actually has a name. Modern scientists call it the overview effect. It's a literal cognitive shift reported by astronauts when they see our planet from outer space. It creates this profound state of awe. Suddenly, national borders just disappear. The anxieties of daily life seem tiny. You realize that every single human being, every animal, every tree is part of one giant connected system. It's basically the ultimate anti-anxiety experience because it completely detaches you from your immediate worries. But here's the crazy part. You don't actually need a billion-dollar rocket ship to experience this. Thousands of years ago, ancient Greek and Roman philosophers known as the Stoics practiced this exact same thing as a mental meditation. They literally called it the view from above. By just closing their eyes and imagining themselves zooming out, past their city, past the clouds, past the whole planet, they could calm their minds, find tranquility, and realize just how incredibly small their daily problems actually were. But the Stoics definitely weren't the only ones looking at the universe this way. Which brings us to part 2. Shared wisdom across empires, ancient connections. You know, the ancient world was a lot more connected than we sometimes think. In 326 BCE, a Greek thinker named Pyrrho traveled all the way to India alongside Alexander the Great. And while he was there, historical accounts tell us he actually met with Indian philosophers and ascetics. Shortly after this, around 300 BCE, Stoicism takes root back in Greece, and by the 1st century CE, we even see this beautiful Greco-Buddhist art blending these cultures together. So ideas were actively traveling along trade routes, sparking this brilliant exchange of cosmic wisdom. For example, when Pyrrho returned from India, he started teaching a concept called epoche. Basically, this means hitting the pause button on your judgments. Imagine you get a bad grade at school, or maybe you receive a really harsh email at work. Instead of immediately reacting with anger or sadness, you just pause. You suspend your judgment. You step back and observe the situation without instantly labeling it good or bad. Scholars actually believe Pyrrho may have been directly inspired by the Indian philosophers he met, who practiced deep meditation and detachment to find mental peace, or what the Greeks called ataraxia. And this beautifully illustrates the parallels between these massive ancient empires. In Greek Stoicism, they believed in something called the logos. Think of it like the universe's ultimate operating system, a rational code that flows through everything, connecting us all. Over in ancient India, the texts known as the Upanishads spoke of Brahman, the supreme universal reality that underlies all of existence. So we have entirely different words from entirely different parts of the world, describing the exact same profound idea that a single, unified system runs through all of reality. Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's fascinating history, but is it true? Well, let's explore how modern physics actually backs up these ancient ideas. Moving right along to part 3, the science of connection, physics and cosmology. Both the ancient Greeks and Indians were intensely curious about how the physical world worked. The Greeks looked at the world objectively. They came up with early ideas of atoms bouncing around in a void and categorized elements like fire and water. The Indians, on the other hand, had a really interesting observer-centric view. They were thinking deeply about a space-time matrix and a cosmos that goes through massive cycles of creation and destruction. They were both trying to figure out the fundamental building blocks of existence, way before telescopes or microscopes were ever even invented. And modern scientists have been continuously blown away by these ancient theories. The famous astrophysicist Carl Sagan actually deeply admired the ancient Hindu cosmological models. He pointed out that it's one of the very few ancient traditions to describe the universe as going through endless cycles of creation, destruction, and rebirth. Which, if you think about it, perfectly mirrors what modern cosmologists study today when they look at the expanding universe and the life cycle of stars. 8,640,000,000. According to ancient Hindu texts, a single day for the god Brahma lasts exactly 8.64 billion years. That is an unimaginably massive cosmic scale. Just to put that into perspective for a second, that is much older than our sun and actually older than the Earth itself. It is absolutely astonishing that ancient thinkers could conceptualize time on such a vast modern astrophysical scale. And when we look through the lens of modern quantum physics today, we don't see a universe made of dead, passive rocks. Science reveals that matter is incredibly active. Subatomic particles literally pop in and out of existence, and everything is part of a dynamic, shifting, and deeply interconnected web of relations. Modern science actually validates those ancient ideas of the Greek logos and the Indian Brahman. The universe really is one giant, breathing web. So what does a dynamic quantum web of the universe have to do with you just trying to get through a tough week?
That brings us to part 4, building your inner citadel, practical psychology.
Look, life can be incredibly chaotic. Between homework, exams, social media drama, or the daily stresses of adult life and work, it can really feel like you're constantly under attack from stress. But both of these ancient traditions offer a profound defense mechanism. The Stoics taught us to build an inner citadel, an invulnerable fortress inside your mind where your true character lives, totally safe from the outside world. The Upanishads call this exact same concept the city of Brahman, a safe, peaceful space inside yourself that external chaos just cannot touch. So no matter what is happening at school or in the office, you always have a safe room right inside your own mind. And observe how similar their advice is for dealing with things you just can't control. I love this. The Stoics used a brilliant metaphor. Imagine a dog tied to a moving cart. The cart is the universe or reality. The dog can either fight the cart, get dragged along, and be totally miserable, or it can choose to jog happily alongside it. Amazingly, the Upanishads use almost the exact same metaphor, comparing the soul to an ox tied to a cart. The lesson here is simple. You can't always control the cart, right? You can't control what other people say or how hard a challenge is, but you absolutely can control how you walk with it. You can choose to move forward with grace instead of dragging your feet. This gives us a highly practical toolkit for daily life. When you understand your place in the vast universe, you cultivate real resilience against setbacks. You bounce back faster. You learn to embrace the present moment, rather than stressing about the future. You foster healthier relationships because you genuinely see others as connected to you. You develop the self-discipline to focus on what actually matters, and ultimately, you find your own unique meaning and purpose. This isn't just dusty old philosophy, it's practically a superpower for modern life. So if we are all connected, how does that change the way we actually treat the people around us? Let's look at part 5, One World, One Family, Taking Action. When you truly understand that view from above, prejudice and cruelty just stop making sense. The Stoics believed in cosmopolitanism, this beautiful idea that because we all share that universal operating system, the logos, we are all citizens of one global family. In the East, this exact same realization led to ahimsa, or nonviolence. The Upanishads teach that the universal self lives inside everyone. So when you look into a friend's eyes, or honestly, even an enemy's eyes, you're looking at the exact same cosmic material that makes up you. Kindness essentially becomes the only logical way to live. And this leads to a shared ancient concept known as detached action. This just means doing the right thing, being a good friend, studying hard, acting with integrity at work, or standing up for someone, simply because it's right. You do it without obsessing over the reward, the popularity, or the final outcome. You control your effort, but you completely let go of the anxiety about the result. It is incredibly freeing once you try it. Well, we've covered a massive amount of ground today, from the edges of the expanding universe right down to the inner fortress of your mind. Now let's just pause for some quiet reflection. Part 6. Questions for your journey, self-discovery. Think about this for a second. If the universe is deeply connected, from the massive burning stars down to the very thoughts in your own mind, how does that change the way you view a difficult day? The next time you feel totally overwhelmed by an exam, a tough meeting, or daily drama, can you use the view from above to zoom out? Can you see your stress as just a tiny passing cloud in a vast, beautiful sky? And finally, What is one small step you can take today to fortify your inner citadel while showing kindness to our global family? Maybe it's hitting pause before reacting in anger. Maybe it's doing the right thing without expecting any kind of reward. The universe is unimaginably vast, but your choices today, right here, truly matter. Keep building your citadel and keep looking up.